Mojo, I heard there was Friday.
Yeah, there was a Friday yesterday.
Yeah. Do you know what? I got up this morning. I had no idea that it was Friday.
It was Friday.
I forgot it was Friday. I forgot it was Friday Facts. Because I went well. Yeah, I went well. That's right. I was gonna have chocolate before Mojo got here. I failed. Yeah, no.
Get it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to because the phone says the glucose is about to die in a bad way.
Okay.
Sir!
Get your chocolate.
Yeah, I have to. It's at a 2.9, which is giving me a bright red symbol. I believe that's a bad sign. So we're gonna run an ad break. I'm gonna leave Mojo to entertain you. God, that's gonna be dangerous. And I need to walk all the way to the house to get fucking chocolate because I didn't have any in the studio because it all melts in here because 28 degrees is a great temperature to keep chocolate at. So
Yes.
I'll leave you guys with Lynch the Barrows and a Mojo, and I'll be back in, I don't know. It's a 180-second ad break. Hopefully before that's done. Yeah.
Don't run too fast.
It's wet. It's wet. We all know how well...
28?
No, 28 in the studio.
Oh.
So in the studio with multiple computers running, it's 28 degrees, whether you like it or not.
I see.
If the AC is not on, it's more like 33, 34 at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night in winter. Yeah. It's about that temperature all the time, actually, even in the middle of summer, due to all the insulation. But with the AC on, yeah, 28's okay-ish. I can live at that temperature, and it doesn't cost me too much in power. Oh, Packer Bear, you're horrible. I'll be back. Oh, good.
It's amazing it doesn't leave Foxhound here to keep me in check. Ooh, I'll have to consider that one. I mean, you could just start reading Reddit and just start rotting everyone's brain cells collectively. Just before coming on, I was reading the Reddit replies, and yeah, it gets off the rails. I mean, the one thing that is of note is what's that? Oh, yes. Fox being bad. Apparently the player character weighs 1 ton. Therefore, that's why you can't carry anything else. You can't carry anything in your inventory. It's just a usual thing. Where was it? Someone was going on about calling for velocities and realisms and player character as a mech. Is at least as heavy as a Minecraft Steve. Is at least equally as heavy, if not... Why is it fully armored? Minecraft Steve is like, with gold armor. It was like 400 tons or something of gold armor. Actually, I think Minecraft Steve was multiple tons, as it worked out to be. I don't know, that thing was like 11 years ago when someone did that. Probably the one thing that wasn't really noticed, or touched on but not really mentioned, was the get to see this FFF shows the remote site for the first time. So the base, the landing hub is it's a single. Well, that's actually an interesting point. So, are you only allowed to build 1 rocket silo now? Or is it infinite number launching up?
Launching half is infinite. Catching half is 1.
Infinite. Yeah, I was just scrolling through trying to make sense of everything. And so you got a single hub on the platform. And then you got this landing pad hub, does that mean the hub is just for returning stuff from space?
So
Then you have
it
multiple
means
silos
that
on the planet?
think of the space platforms as space trains.
Space trains, yes.
Yes.
That's pretty much the analogy that we got from
Yep.
from before.
So with your space train, you're only allowed one unloading station and multiple loading stations.
Okay. So that means every planet will have its own unload station, even the Navis planet, the starting planet.
Yeah. So the reason I need to go and stop for a sugar break is I got up here and then I
That's
ate.
quite a peak.
Well, I ate, and I'm also drinking pure Coke intentionally. So it went straight up, and I'm still I'm now on Coke Zero. But even whilst drinking Coke, it still kept falling, and now it's down to a really, really good number again. Bright red.
Bright red's good, isn't it?
Well, bright red is you might pass out. Fox, it doesn't help. All the things I'm eating are like pasta and low GI things. It's not helping. So,
Someone was worried. It was like, oh, what about mega bases having one endpoint? And yeah, I doubt it. Because it's space train delivering stuff. I mean, the real question is, can multiple of these space trains be in a planet's orbit at once, dropping things off?
I don't see why not.
No, yeah, I haven't seen any reason there isn't a limitation.
Yeah, I definitely don't see why not. And it definitely looks like the limitation and the logistical challenge will be you've only got one drop-off station. But that one drop-off station is also basically a logistics chest.
Yeah, it's just a giant chest.
So with the power of robots and short travel time, you could have 30, 40, 50 passive providers, request chests, whatever, right beside it, and just mass unload. Where are we? Yep, this one. So, you could definitely drop stuff into it. So, say, I don't know, iron plates from Narvis, because the weird Australian planet doesn't have any iron on it, because that'd be about right for Australia. And
So what was all that? I missed all that.
Huh? What? Huh? So, logistical challenge. Okay, you
Yes.
only have one drop-off station. Okay, which
Yeah.
is a chest of some sort, both a buffer chest basically. All right.
Effectively.
So there's nothing to stop you if you don't have iron on Narvis. You could have multiple of these space trains driving back and forth, and then the single drop-off point becomes the logistical bottleneck, which in theory adds a challenge, but realistically, you don't need to use inserters to load it and unload it, so you're not limited by, I'm guessing it's 7x7 tiles, so 28 possible locations to use inserters from. In theory, because it's a requester buffer chest, you could just use bots to mass transport to boxes nearby to then mass load onto trains.
With quality inserters and everything too.
Yeah.
Quality bots, maybe? I don't know. I don't. Would you get quality? No, you can't get quality bots.
Well,
I don't think.
why not? Give me one reason why not.
I'm trying to remember if they were listed or not. I don't remember if they were.
Yep, they're listed.
Oh, there you go then. Yeah. Oh yeah, robots have larger battery capacity and faster.
Yeah. You wish they carried more. Yeah.
10K science, I'll be surprised if it's a bottleneck. Well, actually, 10k science. It might be a bottleneck, but it depends on
10k
what's
or
moving.
1k? 1k and a rocket. 1k
Yeah,
and a
1000
rocket.
science
Load it up.
packs, but just load it up with something cheaper.
What do you mean?
Cheaper items and make it locally.
Well, this is launched to a space platform, which then is going to have a weight limit on it as well. Does the space platform have a quality? I don't know. We don't know that one.
I think that I sort of vaguely remember something about a hub having a quality to it.
It's got no... On the alt view, it's got no markers.
It could just be base quality.
Normal still has a dot on it.
Oh, okay.
So, should it have a dot on it and doesn't have a dot on it? Is that an issue? Should it... Does it not have a quality? Because we have the answer that when building the rocket parts, that the 5 dots in 5 different colors is any quality.
But all the items in that rocket inventory can, or most of them, some like there's a quality solar panel, like the inserter, blue inserter can be quality, but it doesn't have a grey dot.
Good point.
Because I don't remember the grey quality dot ever really being a thing that's normally shown.
So maybe it's only if you're filtering items.
How
many rocket space platforms can you have? I imagine the answer for both of them is dust. Yeah, let's go with dust. Unlimited.
Lots.
Unlimited.
I don't know if you saw too. Rocket control units appears to only have blue circuits. I think now, not.
Where'd you get that from?
It was in another Reddit post.
The one I sent you.
Was the one you sent me? It was a conversation I saw somewhere. They cheapened control units.
RCS was cancelled as an item. And the blue chip, the processing unit, was used instead of it. So...
Oh, that's it, yeah. Yeah, no more. Because I remember seeing people saying rocket control units.
Yeah. So it's blue chips, LDS, and rocket fuel. And also, what was it? 50.
50, yeah. Is that total?
Yeah, total. So from 1,000 parts, or 1,000 individual pieces, down to just 50. Which means everything's going to be...
It's a significant drop.
So when you insert one rocket fuel, does that give you 2% rocket parts? So now rather than being 10 to make one part, it's now one of each to make 2 parts?
It's probably a single craft now.
Just needing 50 total items. Maybe. It makes prob mods a lot less effective.
Yes, it does. It means you don't... that Prod 3s isn't critical on a rocket silo anymore.
Well, it's not critical because it's not as expensive. But on top of that, the payback's going to be a lot longer.
Oh yeah, the little jelly beans on the rocket part.
Rocket part as quality is any quality. So,
UI doesn't make much sense because it's still the old rocket crafting, but is it one rocket part to make one rocket?
well, it used to be 10 of each item made one rocket part.
Yes.
And you need 100 rocket parts.
And then
make
we
a
got
rocket.
to 1,000.
Yeah, so that's how we got to 1,000. So, if it's now just insert 50 of each item, and that gives you a rocket part, and a rocket part is a whole rocket, then maybe, but that's changing a lot of base Factorio items. I think inserting one of each item and it crafting 2% of a rocket
Yeah,
is
potentially.
probably more accurate.
Or a single or 50 crafts, because that would slow down the production potentially.
It'd be 50 crafts, which would be 2% of a rocket.
Yeah, well, the craft still has to actually happen too. It could also be a craft of one of each item.
Yeah, so one of each item. So a blue chip, a LDS, and a rocket fuel gives you one single rocket part.
Yeah, one rocket part.
But then you need 50 rocket parts to make a whole rocket.
50 rocket part crafts.
Yeah.
Minus productivity.
Correct. But it means that because there's less crafts overall, it means putting prod mods in it is way less effective.
Yeah, less effective.
That's why we put them in, well, science first, because science uses all the resources, but then you put them in green circuits next, because green circuits has the most crafts. You don't put them in blue circuits, you put them in greens. So the more crafts you have, the quicker you have a payback.
It actually pays back better on blues.
Only because of the use of greens, but trying to get in the weeds of that one is a whole complicated argument I'm not having, and this is why I just go
It's too early in the morning.
Whatever. No. It's a complicated subject on which way it pays back the best. Because that is assuming it pays back in best in blues if you're making more science, but not if you're making more productivity modules from memory.
Because so it uses less greens by quite a lot. Even 2 prod ones.
Yes, but if you're spending,
I think the one thing you can agree on is the payback of red circuits is non-existent.
it's horrible. Yeah, you greens first, blues second, reds next, smelters last.
Yes, and smelters last. Always smelters last. Generally, it's from the end point backwards.
Yeah, there are
So
exceptions.
labs, purple science, yellow science, blue science. The other sciences don't matter as much.
Yeah, only because they're mainly cheap.
Doesn't matter. Anything with steel in it? Anything with sulfur in it?
Sulfur, really?
Yeah, but that one's an asterisk, because so that table that was generated a long time ago, which says the payback rates, it's based on the old oil assumptions, where oil is quite comparatively expensive, because you only ever used to get like 2 or 3 puddles within a short area. Is it a cheat sheet? Is it on the cheat sheet?
Yep.
Oh, okay, it's been found. Found its way onto the cheat sheet.
Okay, so then I've got acid. So rocket, then labs, then yellow, then purple, then blues, then acid.
Yes. Acid is one that I sort of don't agree with, though. Just build more refineries. As I say, it's based on the old.
Oh, it's based on Mazari's return on interest calculations. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is biased because oil sucked.
Yeah, because it's from the time when oil was difficult.
Then green circuits, then military. Why military?
Probably because it's steel heavy or iron heavy.
Okay. Then RCUs, then gears, plastic, sulfur, blue science, copper cable or copper wire, and then iron sticks, and then. Okay.
Basically, the second page you don't really care that much about. And definitely not the third. I mean, the third page shows you how little you get from productivity rocket fuel. It's shockingly low.
Yeah. Oh, wow, the payback for smelters is faster than rocket fuel. Okay.
Yeah.
That's version 17. Oh, yeah. Well, this should, in theory, have been updated. All minerals count as 1, and oil liquids count as 0.01. Yeah. Water is free.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it shouldn't have really changed since 17.
Yeah. Problem mods is rocket silo, sciences, gears. If you've got gears centralized, because it's just easy to do. It's so easy to do, and that's why you should do it. Well, science, green circuits, gears, blue circuits. I do red circuits. I don't care. I never have enough red circuits. And then I work my way through oil and other things. So Mojo, you also missed this little guy here. This little guy here.
Which guy?
This little guy. This little combinator.
Ah, that's where they were talking about the new combinator.
See?
Find it. It's only started.
The dot linked is 0.17. Oh, okay. No, it's thoroughly out of date. Oh, hang on. Oil was changed in prior to 17.
Yeah, it was changed prior to 17. But
it was changed in 17. Prior to that was 16.
ROI.
So 16, we still had oil problems.
17 wasn't too bad.
17, they improved oil. Yeah, they redid all the resource allocation, so oil stopped getting stamped over by other resources.
Something like that. But yeah, there was also the map generation improved a lot. What I'm saying is it's biased towards... It was sort of... Those calculations were more... It was biased towards version 12, version 13 production levels.
Yeah,
remember,
oil
it used to be
horrible.
10 times... Oil used to be 10 times less? Oh, they did...
Oil was much lower, and it dropped down to...
It dropped down to 0.2, but...
was it 0.2 or was it 0.1?
But they multiplied everything by 10, so it's actually... Like... Numbers, everything was scaled up, but it isn't as clear cut because, like, the decimal point moved, but everything is still kind of the same. It's weird.
Well, they also increased. So they did two things with map generation. They increased the amount of oil overall, and they stopped different resources replacing other resources. So they worked out that when they did resource generation, that they put down like oil first, then stone would get placed. If oil happened to be there or too close to it, it would get overwritten, and then they'd do copper, then coal, then iron, and then it meant lots of resources got removed during the map generation process, which all got updated with 17. 17, they fixed all of that. So the resources are much more even and much more scaled as to what you need in base Factorio. Or ratioed out to what you need in base Factorio. So, thoughts, questions, comments, guesses as to what the combinator might be. And Dust says, yep. We don't have all the details at the end of this best guess. It is always a best guess, but as me and Mojo have been doing this for a while, they definitely leave details in.
Yeah.
They leave details in where you can make fairly accurate assumptions as to what's coming next. It's not 100%, okay? They do put in images that are changed between when we cover it and then when it actually appears in game, or when they cover it in further Friday Facts.
Usually when they cover it subsequently, or they just switch it a few hours later.
Yeah, that's happened too. I remember we did a whole Friday Facts where we did a Friday Facts. We had to do a midweek Friday Facts because the length of the post doubled. They added a whole pile of that wasn't there when we covered it. So guess on the combinator.
Well, it has some kind of slope on it.
Yep, like a graph slope.
Like a graph. Some would even say, look at this graph. Most people wouldn't, because that would be terrible. I mean, imagine having Nickelback as a thing to pop up.
Yeah.
That would be terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. My phone's on silent, you realise that, right?
Yes.
It means my ringtone's unique, right?
I mean, it's better than having the stupid Jurassic Park theme song that everyone has.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, you hear it all the time.
Okay.
It's not as common now, but it probably like actually before 2020 when nobody was around, you used to hear it just all the time, constantly.
Lazarus probably does stat functions over time.
Yeah.
I'm thinking a graph. I'm thinking some sort of... So we have production graphs, okay? We can access that with a P button. Obviously, that's going to have to be updated. So when we go to Factorio, we press P, we're going to obviously have some sort of drop box, probably in the top right-hand corner, top left-hand corner, wherever it's going to be, for choosing the different planets, the different surfaces, or everything combined. That's going to be a given. And that'll be a change. But one thing that we haven't had is, and power's the same. I can click any power pole on any surface because now we can access everything globally from, well, map view. So we can click on any power pole, see how any power network is. But one thing we can't do is we can't see the throughput of a belt. So I'm thinking it's going to give you some way to display a graph of combinator information over time.
Oh, the throughput over time of a belt. I had a combinator blueprint for that, and I lost it. It's annoying. Doing that is actually really complicated.
To get a graph over time, yes. To get a one-off read-off is easy enough, but
Getting a number which is a 5-second average of what's flowing through a belt over time is, yeah, it took a lot of combinators.
Well, I've seen people do it with lights. So you have lights that move on every second or whatever, and they just take a sample every 60 ticks.
Every 60 ticks, yeah.
So
That
once
one
a
is
second.
easy, but you need a memory cell for every 60 ticks, and you need to shift it over.
Yeah. Click statistics. You can turn stuff off with statistics. Ooh, Whiskey Pete. Turn stuff off with statistics. So you're saying if I have an assembler... If I have a whole bunch of assemblers making gears, and I have one of these on the belt, and it says that we're making, I don't know, 22 per minute, per tick, whatever it happens to get, then I could have another combinator linked to it off that then turns one of the assemblers on and off. So it's like, okay, no, 22 is too many. We're going to turn that down to just 20.
So the thing is, it still has inputs and outputs.
Mm-hmm.
So it needs to be able to input, perform a function that you choose, and then do an output. I'm trying to think of something with statistics that does that.
Or it just passes it through, and when you click on it, you get a graph. So back to Factorio, and we click on this, I get a graph over time of a single item on a single belt inside its own GUI.
Because I was trying to think of maybe it's a logistics reader or something that you can use as a logistics reader, but that doesn't make sense to have inputs and that's an output only. It would be like a constant combinator.
I've met over Y in the last 2 seconds goes under Z. So multiple outputs. Well, Kovrex did say somewhere.
And he was talking about groups for constant combinators.
What do you mean groups?
Logistics groups for constant combinators.
That's
or
in this
the equivalent of.
Yep.
Yes, it is. It's the combinator stuff he talks about.
But he did say that he'd used a whole bunch of combinators on the space platform. Hang on. Where is? No, I sent it to Mojo. Yeah, I sent it to Mojo, the one that we found, but there was another one. All right, he did say he used a whole bunch of combinators on the space platform, and we're a space platform. So at the moment, we're just dumping random stuff into space. If you had a statistics combinator that you could say, okay, my production level is over X, turn on an extra production line. Okay, the game's unhappy with me. Then maybe you'd be in a situation where, I think you mentioned it last week, where you'd have a certain amount of science. You do science primary and then everything else secondary, right? Or
yeah.
Ammo primary, science secondary, and then fuel tertiary. You could, if you had some sort of statistics over time, you could be in a situation where rather than doing that, you'd be like, okay, well, what I want to do is I want to, at this amount of output, I'm going to do this. At this amount of output, I'm going to turn on this line as well, rather than trying to do it all with splitters and having the systems back up, which is how I would do it, not using smarts.
Another option
Mm-hmm.
is some kind of menial or collection of menial tasks that you potentially could do with involving platforms. Some kind of combinational logic. But combinational in itself, it doesn't sound like a good solution. Maybe a memory cell is another one that I've seen. That was where I was like, hang on, where's this combinator? Because people were talking about a memory cell. But I don't...
As it a dedicated memory cell? Like, memory cells are used really commonly.
It's probably the most likely, because it's the most... like... It's the most Factorio-ish option.
Simple conclusion is something with arithmetic and combinators combine. The simple solution is something with arithmetic. Yep.
Arithmetic.
Yeah, that's the one. And combinators combined. So both of the current ones we have together as one. One block memory cell would be nice to have. I don't do combinators well enough. Last time I was really good at combinators before they made combinators smarter in 15.
Well, they made it easier to read.
No, they added a whole lot of extra functions.
They changed the base situation, though.
They added extra functions. They made the ability to do things with combinators much more in-depth.
Yes.
And that's the part when I went, nope, too much.
Because or an and is too much, apparently.
Or and XOR. That had 5 new functions, 6 new functions. They didn't have previously. They added the simple fact that previous to that, to do a SR latch, you used a belt. Because that was the only way to do it.
Oh, those are easy to do.
They're easy to do now.
Oh, yeah, they've always been easy to do.
Well, prior to that, you used an SR latch for things like accumulated charge with a belt.
No, you could always do that with a combinator.
Okay.
2 combinators.
Just ignore the new functions. It just got to the stage where the average ability for those that used combinators was far exceeding my own, so I just gave up. I gave up. And then I learnt a way to do many things that people would use combinators for, to do the exact same thing with belts. Right? And just use belt logic. Which I like the idea of using belt logic over the combinator logic. Don't get me wrong, the combinator logic has many advantages, but the belt logic is much more built the base game. I'm with you, Jetty. Got them blueprints to do what I want to do. I don't have blueprints. SR has always been 3 combinators to generate the S and the R signals. 3rd to compare it S.
Speaking of blueprints, they're going to be ignored from trash unrequest. If they're an item.
Oh, you got that confirmed, I assume.
Yes, it's on the forums.
Okay.
There's also, getting into the semantics, technically, most of the time you're not actually using an SR latch. What people call an SR latch isn't an SR latch.
Sure.
But that's getting into semantics.
That one. History. 15. 15 that added a whole bunch.
Yeah, the modular, the bitwise stuff. The stuff that Zenith wanted, basically.
Oh, God. That's an old name. How do I get to the other combinator? Decider.
Decider combinator.
Add additional operators to decider. Oh, just no details of what was added. cool. Just additional
Yeah,
operators.
that was the greater than, equal to, less than, equal to.
And also the anythings were added.
No, anything was always there. Anything, the red, yellow, and green
Were
signals were
they?
always there.
Okay.
It was the greater than, equal to, and less than, equal to, and the not that was added.
Okay.
Otherwise, it was greater than, less than, equal to.
It could always be high, low, turn on switch as well. Yeah, my money is on some sort of condition where I can say, okay, if we're below this number, have this output. If we're above this number, have this output.
High, low, yeah, that would effectively be a double-ended decider. I mean, it's possible, but
I'm assuming
It's just-
because we have a graph symbol. I'm hoping. I'll rephrase that. I'm hoping we can also have some sort of graph over time. So if you
or at
look at
least some kind of statistic over time.
yeah, well, so you're saying you're using the word statistic over time, which gives me the impression you're just hoping for, read belt contents to give me the average for the last 5 seconds.
Or take the average of, or perform a function that you choose, because the combinator itself is very likely to have some kind of collection of operations on it, not just one thing.
Yeah. Just no
It would make more
disagreeing.
sense. It's more of a modded item to do exactly one specific thing, like a memory cell. That's why I'm hesitant to say memory cell, like everyone else is. At the same time...
Well, hang on. Technically, a memory cell, if you asked it to collect the input for the last 1 second or 1 tick and use that as the statistical average.
Well, now so that's two different things. So it's, when I say memory cell, I mean just a dedicated memory cell like they're talking about on Reddit, which is pretty basic.
But a memory cell is just remembering what happened the last tick, right?
Or it's remembering everything. Everything you put into it.
From the last tick.
From every tick.
Because it adds back to itself.
Yes. You can get some hilarious results.
I know you can. I've never, ever broken anything by hooking the wrong wire into the wrong thing. So, if you had a combinator that got the statistical average over a determined amount of time that you could set, i.e. the last tick, and fed that back into itself, then you would have a dedicated memory cell. Of a statistical average of the last tick, which also includes its own output.
That would mean it would always average itself. So if you put a single pulse in for 1 tick, it will average that over 1 tick and probably actually round it down to 0. But it means that whatever number you put in you put like 100 in, it'll slowly go, or it might shoot up to 100 and then slowly roll down again, I think.
Just to add to the possibilities, could it be anything to do with the platforms? It's going to have something to do with the platforms, that's a guarantee.
Very likely, yes.
But... So...
Signal transmitter or receiver?
No.
Logistics channel?
No.
Nah, not likely.
No. So...
So there's Bilbo with the great idea.
A weight of item?
A weight scale. Item statistics, and then you can choose the output, whether it be weight, stack size. Ooh, stack size. Yeah.
Okay, we're at the point. Notepad.
Because that would work on all signals too. Anything with stack size.
We're gonna go with stats. Either over time from input
What I'm so to
Like
clarify,
a
what I'm thinking
belt.
is it's a combinator that can do read item statistics, and you choose the item statistics. Like it could be one of several parameters. That
Yes,
makes the
yes, yes,
combinator more
yes. So you
useful.
see, a combinator that, depending on what sort of signal you're feeding it, is going to give you.
Well, it doesn't matter what signal you're feeding it because most of the signals are items anyway, so we can then spit out whatever you. So if there's a drop-down list like in a decider or an arithmetic combinator, then you could choose to say how much does all of these signals weigh, what are the stack sizes of, or what is the total inventory slots or something. Oh yeah, stack size doesn't make much sense because you already can derive that number anyway.
Can you?
Yeah, if you have it wire a thing to a chest and it has like 50 of 50 blue inserters, then just decide a blue inserter greater than 0, and now you have the number.
But then you've got always got to
Oh
keep
yeah,
that
unless
chest
stack
full.
size means how many actual stacks, like slots it takes.
Okay, so either stats from an item like a belt, to read items per
I think I need to get another coffee.
sec. Yep, sure.
I'd already confused myself with my own thinking.
And then okay, so read item weight. What else? Since regular weight limited rather than stack limited.
So reads items parameters, or I think is probably the most generic way to say it. As in item, so it could be item weight, or it could be some other statistic related to items.
Like.
And Whiskey Pete's, I think, where the logic should be, because that's where I've been trying to think about it.
I think it should be something
it's got to
that
be
help
something that.
normies do what we can figure out ourselves. Can be very complicated. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I was thinking of it. That's why I wasn't keen on the idea of a memory cell, because it's too specific. And the same with statistics too, is it's also very specific.
Wait, stack size. Yeah,
Energy?
energy. Energy as in energy megajoules, or energy as in how much energy is in my combinator?
As in.
Megajoules.
So if you have put in a fuel item, it gives you the energy content.
Yeah,
That's what I'm understanding.
Technically written on the items.
Yeah, per item, but if you have a box full of it, you could tell you how much that energy is worth.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's useful though, because again, it's really specific and it's not really in.
Well, that's the thing. We're going into a whole
game
new
design.
expansion that maybe the amount of fuel that you load inside a tank matters.
Impression I'm getting is that doesn't really. Oh, I suppose it does matter for the rocket thrusters on the platform.
Oh, they're simple. If you have fuel, go.
Yeah, vanilla not a lot, but modded. It only work in modded, so it's not really. It's got to work with base game.
Yeah, but you're forgetting base game is basically becoming a mod. So if you could read the energy megajoule count from, where's my space platform? Space platform. Space platform. Space platform. Space platform. From your
I'd be surprised
tanks,
if it is.
You could make sure that you have a certain amount of fuel before you fire the engines.
But what's there to say decide a combinator value greater than this amount?
Oh, dude, I agree, but
that's why I mean, like, it's got to be something very specifically unique.
Well, I like read item parameters: weight, stack size, energy, megajoule count.
It's read item parameters. I think is the most believable.
Anything. Where's base Factorio when I want it? This is so heavy.
Well, you're in Bob, so you're never going to find it.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just such a garbage dump of items.
Oh yeah, definitely. None of those. None of those. None of those. These. Fuel value. Coke does have a fuel value. Does have a fuel value and does have a fuel value. So when we say item parameters, I really think it should be like all the parameters. So like the being able to read as a combinator item, technically, possibly quality, yes, but also the vehicle acceleration count, the vehicle top speed, because they're all parameters that you can't currently access via the network, and that could be important. So anything in the hover menu you can't currently access. Cool. All right. My money's still on some sort of graphing software, but having all that extra as a, depending on what your option is, depending on what you choose from the drop down, are all possibilities. Just to me, that looks like a graph. 100% looks like a graph. A 64 by 64 with whatever pixels we've got spare graph. And I'm dead set. I'm pretty sure because the Friday facts are actually being typed in advance. They're intentionally leaving stuff in just to see how far the rumor mill can go and what the suggestion's going to be. Because previously it's been accidental when they've left stuff in. You see, wearing a chest to a commenter splits out the quality count of the contents. Yeah, I could too. All right. And the platform, I'm disappointed that there's no there's still no Neobodius Factorios to build stuff.
They're inside the platform. Don't worry.
They're not inside the platform.
There's
not enough room. There's not enough room, Mojo. There's not enough room, Mojo. It's been replaced with koalas.
Ground up koalas. Eucalyptus leaves.
Could switch between circuit colors? No, you can't. You can't. The wires are irrelevant as to which color you use.
Oh, it could be related to the train stop thing.
Train stop thing? What train stop thing?
With the trains changing color?
No.
Not likely.
No, that's going to be a train. Oh, actually, hang on. So, I did set, I am 100% assuming that when trains change color, it has to do with their train orders. Okay?
Yeah, that's our assumption. It has to do with the train orders.
Yep. But a rocket platform, a space platform is a space train.
Yes.
Can I make my space platforms change color?
I mean, they don't really seem to have a dedicated color currently.
Well, they have a hub color, which is predominantly white.
Well, that's the placeholder graphic.
Yeah, I know.
Haven't that yet.
Yep. So can I change the color of that?
Go through that again.
Can I change the color of that on a space train? Brown game to grey game. Hey, at least they've found a second paintbrush. I don't think it'll be grey. I don't think space will be grey. Not with I have no idea what I just clicked on. Not with that. The rockets are just too much. They're too much to call it grey. Yeah. Didn't I say quality? Quality. Few items don't, which is belts. No, belts don't have. Okay. Well, they mentioned belts. I wonder if undergrounds have quality. Can I have a better underground to move further?
Sure.
Well, I said pipes don't, but they don't mention undergrounds. No, mention undergrounds. Like repair packs have more durability of all the things. Like, who cares? Mojo's direct answer was, who cares?
What was that for?
Repair packs. And
Yeah,
better
basically.
quality repair packs. So,
Repair packs are who cares.
yeah. What's the distance on a blue underground? 8, right? Thanks, Mojo.
You're welcome.
Yeah, they're all 8 or less. Hmm. Could we get different colored concrete? No, concrete
You
only
do have
comes in one
different
color.
coloured concrete. It's just not available in game normally.
Yeah. And it's grey or different grey. They're your two color choices.
There's like 16 colours of refined concrete.
Yeah, but the ones in the base game are grey or grey. They're just two different greys. Yeah. Alright, I don't think there's anything else. Is there?
Not that I remember.
Okay, you got your coffee, you good?
I gotta find my tab. There it is.
You gotta find tabs. That's the wrong button.
Browser tabs.
Browser
Those.
tabs. Oh, there's too many of those.
Yes.
Factorio, shut the cool. Alright. Which tabs do I not need open? I don't need the cheat sheet. I don't need that. Quality. Do I need quality?
Oh.
Oh.
Factorio FFF 380.
Yeah. I don't think I need a spike platform. Yeah, 380. Which was remote view, yes?
Yes.
The comment is missing in that photo? Yes, it is.
Apparently there's a redo button.
Huh? A redo button. The opposite of an undo button?
Yeah, the opposite of an undo.
Where is the redo button?
I don't know, but apparently there is one. There's an undo and a redo.
Says who?
The forum.
Isn't it already there? I'm sure there is. Alright, go to Factorio. Copy that. Paste that.
I don't know.
Delete that. Control Shift Z? Control Shift Z. Button on the toolbar? There's no button on the toolbar for undo.
Yeah, I don't know.
Settings, controls. Undo is a tool. Undo.
Oh, there is an undo, but there is no redo.
There should be a redo. I agree, there should be. But it's not a interface button you can click on. It's a, you'd need to know that it's Control Z. Oh no, actually there is an undo button. Which looks like... Nope, that one. It looks like an arrow. Okay, so, 390...
Wait, there is too. What is it? The last picture before the ghost. There's
Last picture before the ghosts.
Yeah. Oh, you were just on it. You scrolled down.
Is a spinny to the right.
Spinny.
Oh, there is a redo button. Okay, so there's a redo button. Okay. Quality. I don't need quality, do I? I don't think so.
Quality redo.
I don't care if we redo with or without quality as long as it's done. Let's be honest. Okay, so yeah, we missed this. Give me redo now.
Redo now.
Yeah. Yeah, never once have I undone. I've pressed Control Z accidentally looking for cut and have no idea what's happened, but it's happened.
Yes, I have gone to redo more than once over the years.
Yeah. All right.
One too many undos.
Yeah. Because it's not like a drop down list where you can pick. Like, I want to undo the last 6 tasks, but not the 7th, because I need to know what they were. Yeah. Which is one of the things that, like, when I'm doing video editing and that sort of stuff, there's a whole history, and you can, like, I want to go back 8 tasks now. Which means I can do a temporary edit and then go, nah, it didn't work out well. Let's just undo the whole lot in one click.
Yeah, it's about 20 undos.
When I'm editing this unlimited, I can go all the way back to the start if I really wanted to. But yeah, Factorio has about 20 roughly.
By default, yes. I think it's in the advanced config menu.
I actually have no idea. I've never looked. All right, you good to go?
Yep, now I'm good to go. I got everything I wanted to know.
You think? You sure? Apart from the whole, no Neobodius Factorio or Scorpius.
I still think there's hope that it's stuffed. There's just a big swarm of them falling all over each other, stuffed inside the hollow space platform.
Well, the space platform building, no. Let me present the building animations, no. They all. We have something similar for entities too. So I think the floor is just going to split open and they'll just slide up.
The floor opens up and then they burst down.
Yep. The building, not the scorpions. All right, you good? That was a yes.
Yes.
G'day, mate, and welcome to Friday Facts number 382, Logistical Groups with, I have my good logistical friend with me. How you doing, Mojo?
Hello.
How you doing? So today we're covering logistics groups, which has a couple of changes.
It does. And some more clarifications from last week.
Oh, a whole lot of
clarifications. Pretty little animation.
Yes, the space platform clarifications. Without construction bots, how do things magically appear on the platform? Well, the platform builds itself.
It's a self-expanding factory.
But yeah. We still haven't taught Factorio to play itself, but we're getting there. We're getting there, bit by bit. We just had to go to space to get the technology to have the game play itself partially. Yeah. I'm wondering how this is going to look when you mass paste down platforms.
It just goes down a whole lot of, the whole thing just expands.
Yeah, like this is definitely done in a controlled environment to make it look pretty, and it looks pretty, don't get me wrong, it looks great. But, yeah, also, so Factorio has all the little doodads on the surface. I'm wondering, the previous Friday Facts, they went and will rearrange themselves when they ghosted down stuff. I'm wondering if that bit of pipe that's right there that's really bugging you because it's lining up with one of your inserters or whatever, whether you can remove those, move those, get rid of those, or whether it's just stuck there permanently. Yep, things for the future. All right, on to the next thing. So we have something similar for entities too. So things won't magically appear. It will be as though the platform is building them by itself. So it means that my Neobodius Factorios little scorpions are not going to be coming out of the hub, and they're not going to be building things, which I'm very disappointed about. I'm pretty sure that a hole in the platform is just going to open up, and the assembler is going to pop up from underneath, and the ground will close, and that'll be the end of that.
There's still hope that as I keep saying, the space platform is hollow and it's just swarming with them inside.
No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The next thing I can hope for, okay, is there's going to be enemy on one of the planets. Okay, that works for me too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to leave people with the image of a hollow space platform that's just swarming with insects.
With insects?
This is the image, exactly the image that you want.
Okay. If Blue Science leads to rockets, do we get advanced, do we get advanced stuff like low density structures and rocket control units earlier, or are rockets different? Low density structures is Blue Science. Rocket control units
actually pretty straightforward.
Were just yanked from the game. Yanked from this area of the game, and instead we're going to use processing units to launch stuff into space. Yep. On top of that, they lowered the cost of rocket 20 times, which means rather than needing 1,000 rocket pieces to make 100 rocket parts to make one rocket, you need 50 rocket pieces to make, 50 to make possibly 100 rocket parts, 50 rocket parts to make one rocket.
Something's rocket parts?
You'll need
rocket parts?
50 rather than 1,000. That's the bottom line.
Pocket rocket parts?
Yeah, pocket rockets. Yes. So this is to lower the focus on rockets. We have to produce rockets on every planet eventually, and send quite a lot of rockets to build your platforms and to move stuff between planets. Mojo, do you remember back in the old days? Back in the very, very old days, where you'd measure your mega base by the fact that you could make 1 rocket per minute, and that was like a major accomplishment.
It was a major accomplishment because it was the most difficult thing you could do in the game at the time.
Oh, that, and the game would struggle. You need a good PC to get to 1 rocket per minute.
One rocket a minute was a struggle.
Yeah, you need, things are very well optimized, a lot of production lines. You'd have to have everything set up very, very well to just achieve the amount of production required for 1 rocket per minute.
I think mine went down to like 38, 35 UPS just to do 1 rocket a minute.
Oh, yeah, things have changed. Yeah. So the result is now we're going to have 1,000 rockets being sent in the expansion at least. Yep. Rockets that are now a nothing. Cool. We only see guns on the platform. Laser turrets ineffective against asteroids. Each asteroid has different preferred weapon. So that means that Mojo's flamers are definitely a possibility. Laser turrets only effective against small asteroid, and the medium ones need at least a gun. Since energy is quite scarce on the platform, usually a better strategy to just put guns on both small and medium asteroids. Guns for both small and medium asteroids. Also going to be big and huge asteroids on some of the more dangerous routes, and these will need even heavier weapons, so we get new guns.
New guns which are not lasers.
Cannons. Cannon shells are useless.
Cannons, maybe some kind of rocket turret or cannon turret. People have been talking about some kind of low caliber grenade launcher.
That sounds boring.
Sounds overcomplicated, but cannon is using tank cannon shells seems more plausible.
Yeah, because tank cannon shells are just about useless. They're just, yeah.
Look, as soon as you get big biters, yes, pretty much.
Yeah. Your other option is just take the artillery cannon and just aim it forward. Yep. With the cargo bay extenders, can't we just use 1 big inventory as a teleport? We aren't noobs. Why do you think the cargo wagons can't be placed in space? Only the central hub can be used to access the items with inserters. It can be utilized on small platforms, but can't be abused in a scalable way. So it means that the extra cargo thingies that we can put down, inserters can't grab to and from them. But we could possibly chain them all the way across the space platform if we wanted to for more storage, but inserters can't access them. Which means that everything needs to come and go to the middle central hub because we have no storage apart from belt storage. Yeah.
That means you can't surround the hub with those things. You actually got to be pretty strategic about it.
Well, they can connect to one another because we
can connect to one another.
Yeah. So you can build them off in a straight line off to the middle of nowhere.
It's just that you got to go around it to run items through it.
Yes. Oh, technically go under it. They're only 3-4 tiles wide. Yeah. Why can't space platforms have holes? This is the reason it's driven by gameplay motivation. If we can have holes in the space platform, basically mean you can do a very comfortable, spacious setup and just remove all the unused tiles to reduce the platform weight. We want to push the mini game of building a belt-based mini factory in a limited space, so it seems to be doing its job as intended. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Having gaps.
Pretty much what I thought was that no speed holes.
Yeah, it makes it just too easy. So, rocket carry capacity, because this was a question from last Friday Facts as well. How do we even define the capacity? First obvious question, how much can a rocket carry? We surely want to make the transportation from the surface to orbit to be expensive. That means the rocket can only carry a small amount of items, which makes the relative cost of transporting different items quite important. The obvious choice to set the rocket to carry some fixed amount of stacks. It would be 1, but wouldn't be as feasible because some items are too expensive to transport. Science packs, cheap in minis, so like circuits and such. That would suck. I'm setting a rocket up for 200 green circuits, 100 gears. Yep.
They're not even that expensive gears.
Some items would be too cheap if you could transfer a whole stack in 1 rocket. Reactors, rail ramps. So rail ramps are going to be unbelievably costly from looks of that.
Actually, the main talking about reactors. The next point
Some items would be too heavy to transport as a whole. The idea of transporting a whole rocket silo inside a rocket is too much even for Factorio. Yeah, but I can carry like 60 of them in my pocket.
Yeah, there's a bit come up on the Reddits.
Yeah. Since we have recycling, we need more efficient transfer some resource-dense items like express undergrounds to be recycled into iron at the destination compared to just setting the iron directly.
That's actually the point that I was thinking of. Like,
Yep.
you just do something that's really, really dense, like a reactor or a rocket silo, and then recycle it at the other end.
Yep, I actually have no problem with that whatsoever. We can also manipulate the stack sizes to get the wanted ratios. We can change the balance of trains versus belts and more. That is a horrible idea. So they added weight. So, weight system. We decided the axiom to be a rocket carrier 1,000 kilograms is good, and the balance the rest around it. We started by setting all weight to be 2 kilograms per item. So 500 items equals 10 stacks, can fit in a rocket. And then we created an automated formula to divide the weights of items based on their recipes. Many items also have specific hand-picked weights defined in their prototypes. This created some sort of rough base for testing, and we modified many things a lot. Most non-intensive non-intermediate utility stuff was cut to be at most 1 stack per rocket. Many things were rounded up. In some cases, we bent things a lot. Science packs are expensive, but they can't be recycled, so we allow 1,000 to fit in a rocket. Modules are expensive, but a whole stack can fit in a rocket because recycling modules is just silly. You say that until somebody does it.
See, the thing is, I don't know if he's being facetious or not, or if he's trying to give a hint.
Yeah, like a whole stack of modules is an awful lot of. It's an awful lot of blue circuits, red circuits.
It's a lot of circuits in general, but at the same time, it's if anything, modules are weird because they cost more in time than resources.
Yes, and also
time expensive.
Potential profit from using said modules. Apart from efficiency modules, they're just useless. Still yet to be proven otherwise. We do have rocket silos. We do have power to take into consideration now. But then again, still to be proven otherwise. They're as far as I'm concerned right now, I'm still baseless. Useless, yes. There are 2 main ways to fill a rocket, manually and automatically. In manual mode, you can just pick any mix of items you want as long as they fit in the limit. And press the button to send the rocket to a space platform. And we have a couple of interesting facts with our little picture. So first off, blue circuits. Low density structures and rocket fuel. We sort of imagined 2 of those.
Confirmed the recipe.
Yep. Also, the rocket part has many little dots.
Like a full bag of Skittles there.
Yep. That is the any quality. Yes, any quality. So if you put in better blue circuits with crappy everything else, it'll still craft, I assume. Yeah.
What does a quality rocket silo give you?
Well, it's any quality rocket part. I don't think that different rocket parts will have different quality amounts, although maybe the fact that it has an any quality means it will, and therefore a legendary
means
quality...
it has to do something.
Well, a legendary quality part might be worth 150% of a normal part, maybe?
Cheaper to craft or something? Because it's probably not going to change the capacity.
No, it's probably not going to change the capacity, but maybe it'll change the rocket progress percentage. So because it's now 50 items total, I'm imagining that we're going to need 1 blue circuit, 1 low density structure, 1 rocket fuel to have 1 craft go across, and then it will give us 2% of a rocket progress for 1 rocket part, being the thingy on the left, which normally you used to need 100 of, but now we only need 50 of because it's, much cheaper. So I'm going to assume that's going to give us 2%, and therefore if we put in all legendary items and we get a 150% multiplier, then rather than being 2%, it'd be 5% for a legendary part? With productivity on top of that?
No.
Maybe? I don't know.
Don't know. It doesn't seem to really jive with the rest of what quality's meant to be doing. Strange.
It's one of those, we'll have to wait to find out. But we are launching 1 ton. That is TON, which is some weird amount of pounds. It's an imperial measurement, not 1,000 kilograms, just for the record, because I had to look it up and double check.
Ton should be 1,000 kilos.
No, that's TONNE.
Isn't ton the imperial ton?
They're both pronounced ton. 2,000 pounds. 2,000 pounds. Yep. Mojo's going and looking.
2000. A short ton is 2,000. A long ton is 2,200. Gotta love Imperial.
So which one's spelt which way?
So it's a ton.
So
Imperial
TON
ton.
is imperial or metric?
Imperial. A ton, TON, is Imperial.
Okay,
Yes.
so we can launch 980 kilograms or 1 tone. Let's go with tone. Let's just pronounce it very, very differently. Tone. TON. Because
I'm
imperial.
surprised that they got that wrong.
Yeah, I'm surprised I got it wrong too. Although they did change all the spelling in the game to the American standard some years ago.
Yeah, that's true. They did localize it to American.
Yep. So there are 2 main wings for the rocket, auto and manual, and you can see we're not loading that much on there for a tone. A tone. There's not a lot of stuff going to space. We do have a couple of inserters, belts, underground splitters, a couple of decent quality solar panels, 2 of the grabbing machines with the tentacle arms, 1 grinder and 7
platforms.
Just 7 platforms. That's not even enough to put an assembler on.
So something interesting to note from Reddit: player character weighs exactly 1 ton.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
Well, we haven't got to that yet, but yes, maybe, possibly. Or it weighs 0.
No, it's
confirmed by dev?
1 ton. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, we'll cover that in 1 second. All right. So yes, we have our request for requests for logics. Yes, Logic platform.
The space platform is requesting.
Yep. Also, we can tick on the auto launch, and in automatic mode, the rocket salary requests just 1 type of item based on request from auto platform. By default, it always waits till it has a full rocket's worth before launching, so as not to waste any rocket capacity. For special case, we added a custom minimum payload to set a lower launch threshold, which might be useful for very expensive low throughput items. So I can definitely see we're going to end up with a situation where we're going to have multiple rocket silos that are designed to fire off like things that you need regularly. So if you build a platform that just does space science, it's just going to need, I don't know, a constant supply of iron and a constant supply of uranium and something else.
Yeah, those space science items.
Yeah, you're going to have it just constantly firing with a couple of dedicated rocket silos. But you are also going to have certain platforms that are come and visit and disappear, at which point you're going to have, it auto-requesting stuff from space with a different load limit on there. So you might say, okay, well, I'm happy for a rocket to leave at 50% capacity if that's all it happens to have. Or 50% of weight capacity. That's probably more accurate. So, yeah, I don't know. Rocket's not that expensive anymore. I don't think I care. And they did say that previously in a previous Friday Facts. They also didn't bother to mention that we have a new combinator. The new graph combinator. Yeah.
Your favorite Nickelback combinator.
Yes, thanks.
So we have been trying to speculate as to what it is.
Well, it's one of a couple of things. So either my money is if we hooked it into like a belt or something, it would give us an overtime like graph of the items on that belt. Okay, so we could get some sort of autograph. Automatic graphing of items over time on a belt. You said you'd be able to read item parameters. So
yeah, Bilbo started it, and then because I was trying to think of something that is very generic and broad, and all the suggestions that I've seen are very niche or constrained.
Yeah.
And so reading item parameters seems like the way to go.
Which now we have the new weight item or weight parameter that's been added to every single item. Yes, along with quality. So you could read the weight of an item, the quality of an item. It's also been suggested the fuel value of an item. I don't know why you'd want to, but possibly it's important.
Again, that's where it starts to fall off the rails because it's very niche and very specific.
Well, I think it would be anything you could hover your mouse over an item and get a stat for. So technically, inserters like have a inserter capacity number and
stats.
Also a rotation speed. So maybe you could have those output with the new magic combinator that does graphing of some sort or reading parameters or or something. It's been suggested it could be a memory cell, but memory cells are fairly common in Factorio and they're pretty much been
You
mastered
can
by
do
now.
them with two to three combinators already, and I mean it is specific, but I'm expecting the interface for it to have a drop-down list of a few different functions, like related to what it's doing, and
Yeah,
like a memory cell is very specific.
well, the original two are very maths focused. So they very much take in a number, do something with said number, and then output.
Yeah.
And
So, or maths and inequality or equality.
yeah. Well, maths and a function, right? Whereas I can see the new one be a little bit more expandable, a little more available for new players. Because a constant combinator, that's pretty simple. Everybody pretty much gets the concept of that fairly quickly. But then the other two combinators are sort of like jumping in the deep end. So an intermediate combinator that has a bit more friendly for new players.
Yeah. Something that can perform some functions that are related to space platforms.
Yeah.
As well is another one that I saw.
Yeah, like weight, and also, like I said, if you can read the amount of items on a belt per minute, then rather than throwing things off the edge of the platform, maybe you can say, okay, if I've got to a stage, if I'm getting 20 iron per minute, please turn on this assembler and this assembler and start producing extra items, which you could technically do with belts and priority splitters and having things back up, which is possible, but maybe a combinator gives you a different option to get to the same end outcome. So yeah, it's one of those wait to see. But we definitely have a future Friday facts about
yes.
freaking combinators. Yes. Players traveling. What?
Not to give away the bottom of the FFF, but that's literally what they say.
Yeah.
What Torek says.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Launching yourself to space is done with the same rockets as normal cargo. In the GUI, you just choose travel to space and pick your destination platform. Upon arrival, the character will sit safely strapped into the platform hub. However, the weight system implies the player can potentially hold tons of rockets worth of items in their inventory. So for traveling in space, you're only carrying your armor and your guns, nothing else, not even the ammo. So
and that answers the question that keeps coming up. Why don't players just carry tons of stuff? Well, because you can't. Not even ammo.
Can't. Not even ammo is going to be the horrible one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also to clarify, the reason I believe this was on the forum, why not even ammo is you could just stock up on nukes and carry 30 nukes with you.
That's perfectly valid. I
mean, it's a perfectly valid thing to carry.
Mm-hmm.
Then you don't even need to go, hey, JD, tab space. But yeah, you could just recycle them at the other end.
Thanks. I can definitely see that happening over at Twitch. Somebody's gonna, yep. I'll play Factorio tomorrow. Yep. Or technically a couple of hours after this Friday Facts releases. Yep. We're doing an OP map with Halloween themed. There's gonna be if a player dies with pressing tab space, a zombie is spawned of the player, who then moves towards the player, just trying to eat their brains. It'll be fun. So you're saying if you click...
I forget who did that to. I know someone who did that to a random...
Oh, it's happened many times.
It's happened many times.
Yeah.
It's just one of them where the long 5 seconds and the explosion goes off.
Yeah, you just pop into a random... when they got nukes, just, hey, press space. Quick, press space, and they just tap. Yeah, okay. So you're saying travel to space. When you click travel to space, it launches the rocket with you only, and none of the stuff in the current rocket inventory, according to the forums.
Yes, and also, although we sort of explained, and it has been covered and explained already, is that you are locked to the hub. So there's no life support and all that crap like there is in SE.
Yep, you're stuck in the
hub
in the White House.
Life support.
Yep. So overall logistics, the last non-explained piece of the puzzle is the way items are transported from orbit back to the surface. This is done with the cargo landing pad, which is a special building that can be extended with cargo base, like the space platform hub. More importantly, you can only have one per planet. So the rocket platforms are basically intergalactic trains.
Yes.
So we can have multiple rockets on the surface where we can load into the space hub platform with multiple rockets. So your loading capacity is very, very high. Your transport capacity from A to B is limited by how well you design your rocket space platform, because they're going to have some sort of movement speed, which is tied to how well it's engineered, which is tied to how much weight it has, which is tied to how much fuel it gets and how quickly it loads that into the engines and fires the thrusters to get to planet B. And then the unloading is limited to technically how fast you can empty the building with the cargo landing pad at the other end. So multi in, one out.
Yes.
Yeah, with a transport time of the space train, which I'm assuming as it's a space train, we could have multiple trains on the same train track going from planet A to planet B. At least, I hope so. So, limitation one per planet might sound weird, but we just find it fitting because otherwise we tried that is too convenient. Just put them all over the place and have the imported items right where you need them. Yes, this is exactly how people would play it. And late game...
It's exactly what I would do.
Yep, and late game is very nice to have one busy logistic junction in your base. Landing pad has logistic requests, which is satisfied by platforms in space. Inserters pull directly from it, and also works to provide a chest when a logistic network is on the surface. So basically, things land in it, and then inserters can pull out all the robots. So I don't see it being terribly throughput limited. You can always have stuff land in there, get moved very short distance via robots into a request chest, loaded in a train, and shipped halfway across the base.
Yeah, so this is something that did actually come up on, I think, Reddit as well, as people are like, oh, so what about high throughput mega bases like 10K? And the response is just that from Kavorex. It throughput limit is actually surprisingly high.
Oh yeah, it would be
You can
massive.
pull items out of this thing very quickly.
Yeah, because it's can access as one giant chest for a whole lot of robots to access.
Yeah.
And in theory, you could add more storage to it as well. Inserters might not be able to access it, but if you want to go super high throughput, then you'd already be moving to bots. And possibly loaders, if we end up with loaders, because we do have loaders on the front of the recycler, but there's no guarantee that they're anywhere else in the game yet.
Well, the recycler, the loader is effectively the same as a mining drill.
Yes. Yes, except mining drill outputs one item, and this outputs
do have legendary quality stack inserters.
This is true. Next up, we have logistical groups, which is
This is amazing. There's two things that are amazing here. The first thing is the group.
There's three. There's three. You're forgetting about the third one. Okay, there's a very important third one, which is going to cover as we read through it. Okay. A planetary logistics system works like, but playtesting uncovered one critical problem. As it is a recurring theme now, playtesting and iterative improvements are required tool to uncover problems and develop something playable. Correct. Problem we discovered, the system has many points where you request the same set of items, but once you need to update it, it's a chore, at least to chaos. And this problem is not only relevant to space, but having a group of spidertrons with logistic requests has the same issue, which leads to the annoying task of going through all the requesting entities by one using copy-paste just to miss one in the group and introduce chaos. That's why we developed a solution that solves all these problems and some nice benefits as well, which is logistical groups. Solution has three main parts. You can assign a logistical group, logistics request to a named group, and then all the places used in the same group are automatically synced whenever you change something. So, just the first one. The amount of times I played multiplayer often, and we streamed that together, and I decided to go outposting. And I need to request in like 1,000 belts with, we've got one here, expansion building, 150 miners, 450 efficiency modules. Somebody's getting a little bit efficiency crazy, but not requesting enough power poles, in my opinion, to actually run that.
Definitely missing the power poles.
Yeah, and I'll come back to base and I'll request all this stuff, and then I'll go out and build 1 or 2 mining outposts, and then I'll have to come back and clear the requests and dump everything. And now it is a case of you just tick the box, and they'll just turn on that request for the time that you need it, and then untick the box, and you'll stop requesting those items, which is awesome. Also, yes, rail building is another one. You go to hook up the outpost you've just built, and rail building gets requested, and then you request in all the rails. You go build some rails, then come back and your
rail building spider.
Yeah, we'll cover the spiders in just a second. You can have multiple logistic groups on each entity, and you turn on or off individual groups at any time. So this is a big change, an awesome change. I have no idea who's playing this is requesting iron chests. You need to be shot. They're a waste of resources. Just make the steel ones. But that's massive. That's a big change. A big change, and I'm definitely a fan. And who is trying to request 20 of each of the different power armor items at the same time? I have no idea. Yeah, and why?
Someone who wants 20 legs, clearly.
Yeah, but where are you going to put 20 fusion reactors? Where? Even under a legendary power armor, it won't fit 20.
I wonder if it's a buffer chest for equipment. Because it's not necessarily so these can be anything that's a requester. not
True,
necessarily personal or
true,
Spidertron.
true. Because we haven't got to that yet. But yes, you can set up any building to do this. Also, any spider. Final GUI solution is also resulted quite a few iterations. Main goal is to make it reasonably simple to use. If you don't care about groups at all, in that case, you have one unnamed group and use it the same way as 1.1. So they haven't changed any functionality overall. They've just added features,
Yeah,
which
just
is
added group the grouping.
yeah, which is amazing. The fact that you can turn them on and off so quickly is also amazing. But then we have this one, trash unrequested. There was one annoying problem I had with Spidertrons. As I played, I had to add more and more trash requests to all the things they could pick up. For example, wood, stone, ores, basically any kind of mess they encounter when deconstructing. It was around the 10th item to be trashed, I realized there would be always one extra item I forgot about, and what I actually want to do was trash everything that's not requested. At this point, the feature idea was obvious. So this is the perfect point where I point out that playtesting, as Covrex has pointed out, is very, very important, and obviously the devs didn't playtest 1.1.
Yeah, or 1.0 even.
But I don't remember. The Spidertrons didn't really do logistics, did they?
No, they gained logistics in 1.1.
Yeah, and in 1.1, this became my number one gripe with Spidertrons.
Yeah. Oh, even, so I was using Spidertron logistics in 1.0. There was a mod for that.
There was a mod,
So
yes.
I'd already encountered that in 1.0. But yeah, this is the bane of everyone's existence for a long time now.
Yeah. So we added the trash unrequested checkbox, and when enabling anything that isn't explicitly requested is put straight to the trash. This also has a secondary benefit that when you change requests of some group, outdated request items don't accumulate in the storage. Okay, yes, it is a massive update, and very, very important. It's also going to come with one small little consequence. But logistics groups and trash unrequested feature. Oh no, hang on. Using the trash unrequested in personal logistics can have a few unexpected consequences at the time. It takes a while to become conscious about it. Happened many times that I crafted a few new items in my inventory and immediately disappeared into the trash slots before I realized what was going on. The robots were happily carrying it away from my reach, but once I got used to it, turn it on or off based on what I was doing, it became one of those things I couldn't play without anymore. Both logistics, trash groups, and trash unrequested features are unified across player, request chests, Spidertrons, roboports, rocket silos, space platform hubs, landing pads, and will be available in the 2.0 base game.
Which means non-expansion.
Yes, it means in all Factorio going forth after the DLC is released. The DLC expansion 1.2.2.0 release of the base game. But I've just reread that for the third time, and I've come up with a question. Mojo, your personal opinion. So we have no group assigned in this little picture, which is like your personal request, whatever it happens to be. Now, if you go and put down a blue chest beside an assembly machine, you use the copy and paste function, does that become a new group? Because it's going to automatically request.
So you copy yourself and then paste it onto the.
No, you copy
chest.
from the assembler to copy what assembler requires into a requester chest to make sure that what the assembler needs to make the item that the recipe set to the blue chest. Therefore, it sets up the request automatically to request about a minute's worth. Does that automatically become a new category?
That's an interesting question, because it's not clear if you have to consciously create the group or not, or if it's just automatically created.
Yeah, and then when somebody goes through and sets up a bot mold, especially for some of these modded playthroughs which have 10,000 recipes for different an assembler mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, along with not just a chemical plant, but we have our chemical plants in 5 different varieties and in 5 different levels. So there's a good 25 different types of chemical plants you may or may not require as you play through this playthrough, which means you have a bot mold that it consists of not 30 or 40 assemblers, but it's like, a good 4 screens worth of 200 assemblers plus that make 200 different buildings that you may need in large quantities or small quantities that all potentially are done by a bot network, because let's face it, nobody wants to set that up with belts. What does that mean?
It means that list's going to get very big if it automatically creates a new group.
Very big.
So was this player requester chests, Spidertrons, not buffer chests? I suppose it's implied with requester chests. It's not requester chests.
Yeah.
Oh, unless requester chest has a separate thing where it can be ungrouped. unless that's what no group assigned is at the top, is that no group assigned means something that isn't on a global group.
I just assume no group assigned is your personal, and therefore everything has a personal. Maybe every blue chest has a no group assigned personal.
The window that we're looking at is effectively the personal logistics.
Yep.
So it would make sense the top is your personal because no group assigned. It's also in square brackets, which implies to me that it's not global.
Okay, so we're going to assume every blue chest has its own version of no group assigned, being its own personal request.
Yeah, being its own isolated request.
Okay, sure. So yeah, this is a massive feature. Also, it clearly points out that Covarex never playtested version 1.1 because that got annoying real fast.
There are tick boxes. Sorry, just quickly. There are tick boxes, so you can choose which to request.
Well, I assume that's to enable them.
Yeah, to enable them in that request.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
They're also standing outside the logistics network because everything's red at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, couldn't even stand inside the logic network for us. All right, small buttons on top. I'd like to show you my favorite example of a beginner intermediate circuit network usage. Demonstrate the needed change relating to the logistics groups. So the wall supply station. If you know what's up in Factorio, you probably learned it's not the best idea to spread your logistics network across all of your expansions and defense perimeters. It works. It works.
I mean, there are some people that are committed to the life of the transcontinental bot network.
There's nothing wrong with it. They get there when they get there. It's generally better to have small logistics networks so the robots' deliveries are faster. But you also probably know it's a good idea to set up a way to keep your defensive perimeter in good shape automatically, so biters will eventually grind it down. It becomes even more useful when you need to ensure that your base is able to survive long enough without your physical presence in the space age expansion before having spidertrons or artillery. So it's useful to set up the wall supply system, which is basically a train which delivers all the needed materials to these separated small logistics networks around the defensive perimeters. Just a few combinations needed to make it work really. And this is something that a lot of players have probably set up with
blueprinted because combinators are not the most trivial thing to understand.
No. Look, it's simple after you go through the process of setting it up once or twice or 53 times because you're playing it with multiple outposts and you forgot to blueprint it, or you blueprint it and it has a train station on it and therefore it can't rotate or flip correctly because the game doesn't allow us to do that. Please have that fixed by version 1.2, 2.0, expansion.dlc. Just small things like that. So you've probably built one or two of them. But this is an automated wall supply, and the cost combinator defines what is needed at the remote outpost, and we subtract what we have from it to get the list of missing materials. This can be used to control the inserter, unloading from the train, also disable and enable the train station to call when necessary. The problem is everything's nice and easy and doable and vanilla just fine, but the system has a problem related to change. You might decide that you want to add a new item to resupply station or change the item amounts. Yeah, I want lasers. Nope, we've got lasers. I want guns. The biters have got too big. My power situation sucks. I want guns and I want ammo. As long as you don't want to make a huge whole circuit network, whole map circuit network, all the cost combinators, the one in the main base and the ones per remote station need to be updated manually. No way, we need to automate it. That's unacceptable. So the solution is to have a constant combinator that we can now ask them to select the wall resupply group, and then we can just go in and add our guns, our belt, and our ammo. And every single outpost is going to light up at the same time, needing guns, ammo, and belts. Which is awesome.
Yes.
I have to say it's awesome. Also means that...
the number of times that I've got one of these requesters where one of them's slightly different to the rest.
Yeah, it happens, and you just accept that the next time you go through and update them all, you'll probably get all the missing ones. Or you finally realize that the update you've done in all your wall defenses has all been built, it's all been upgraded, it's all been up and running, and it's all working. And then finally, there's one little bit of the map that's still flashing saying, hey, you never delivered me the guns, so we haven't done any gun stuff for you. Yeah. But also there's
a big advantage for me is that I have a self-building outpost system that I use, and so being able to tick and untick these things. So like there's the one which actually supplies all the base materials, the mines and stuff, and it only needs it for construction, so I can turn that off finally, instead of having two combinators and then remotely deconstructing one.
Yeah. The other thing we have is we have a description box. So every single wall supply or solar building or whatever, we can add some descriptors into,
Put
which
words
is
in.
gonna be helpful. Helpful, I hope. Especially, I don't know. Can you blueprint these things? That's gonna be a new question. Yeah. I don't know. Can I make a blueprint of my requested chest that's ticked for wall supply with all the details for my wall supply that then I give Mojo the blueprint so he can then put down inside his map that's going to automatically request things in my wall supply group? That's getting interesting.
Do you know there is one travesty?
What?
So because there's auto unrequest,
Mm-hmm.
which means auto trash everything you don't necessarily need,
Uh-huh.
it means that you can just run around with that on,
Uh-huh.
and you will never have your inventory filled with pistols and wood again.
Yes, that is a travesty. That is a travesty. You know what else? It has already been a question on this particular constant combinator. How many buttons can you have? So you mentioned you have 2 combinators currently, one to build the thing and then one to actually supply the thing, right?
Yes.
So you could add a section and have a second or a third or a fourth or a fifth, or you could have a constant combinator with every single output for every single different logistical setup you may need, and then just tick and untick them. So you could have your blueprint already set up with 2 requests, one for building and then one for actually supplying, and then tick on and off whichever one you need as you need it.
Which you can actually do now because of the remote interaction, which you couldn't do before.
Yes. But yes, as you might have guessed, it's not the last time we're going to talk about circuit stuff, because we have, that little combinator thing that we need an explanation about. Yep. We have things that both make it more approachable and more powerful. So this is supposed to starting to get quite long. It will be discussed some other time, which brings us to the end of the Friday Facts.
It does. So another thought that I did have originally was that maybe the combinator, the new magic combinator, it turns all of this logic into a single combinator for the train stop. But I don't know how that would work.
What do you mean? Hang on. What do you mean? A single combinator for the train stop?
So a single combinator that does the logistics deliveries, or request a train or something. So it like says if red wire has something less than green wire, then it outputs L or something, to turn on the train stop or turn on the train request. But that's, again, it's a very specific, very contrived option, so I don't see it as a thing.
Do we have a combinator? So currently combinators compare.
So a decider compares if something's greater than or less than?
No. Decider compares.
Yes.
Whatever's being fed in on either color wire or both colors.
On either color wire, it doesn't discriminate. The combinator currently discriminates on a wire. Okay.
To a item that you've set manually in the combinator and then gives an output.
Or one of the wildcards, which is each, everything, or anything.
Yep. The arithmetic combinator does this exact same. How about the new combinator compares the red wire to the green wire? Because we don't have that as an option.
It's just a straight wire compare. That's potential, but what is the function it performs, though?
I don't know. We've got a long list of drop-down functions already that we can do, but we don't have a situation where you can do something on a red wire versus a green wire situation. All right. The only reason we have 2 colors of wire is it means you can have 2 signals technically existing at the same time without co-mixing. But we don't have any real way of, having the 2 signals interface with one another. I can feed a green signal into a combinator and feed it straight back out and could have that combinator convert it from a green to a red wire, but I don't have a way of interfacing and doing a comparison between, do I have 200 gun turrets in the green wire network compared to the red network, whichever one has the lower amount, go set an output on the red wire or can set an output on the green wire. Yes.
But yeah, it's say the reason why I'm hesitant to commit to that is just because it's one function only, and I can see it being a drop-down box, not one
Yep.
function,
Yeah,
and I can't think of anything else it could do. It's useful.
All I'm thinking is there's a spot right beside a spider to have a scorpion, and that is where we're going to end the Friday Facts. Because I either want to have a scorpion I can build, or a scorpion that I need to fight against, because it's currently not going to be building anything on my space platform.
So,
and I'm
before we
disappointed.
go, I got 2 more points.
Yep.
Just quick things to add. So the weight of items does not affect trains. That was
True.
confirmed by our setting.
True.
So trains with really heavy items do not get heavier. It specifically said that
Trains are heavy to start with.
It's not going to add anything of value, and is right.
Yep.
The other thing is, you know how you can have blueprints as items in your inventory?
Oh yes, that was the other one. They're not going to auto trash.
So they will be ignored by auto trash.
Yeah. Yeah, and I assume decon planners and upgrade planners will fall under the same book.
So all of those items, wires, whatever, will all be ignored.
Well, wires are ignored because wires are a freebie.
Green wire, yeah. Oh, yeah. All the virtual items are ignored.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is where we're going to leave the Friday Facts then. Yes.
Oh, and the redo button.
Oh, yes, I've got the redo button. Sorry. Earlier.
360. We missed this.
Yeah, we missed this. Down here in Friday Facts number 380, this little...
380, sorry, not 360.
Yep, this little item down here is the opposite of the undo button. This is the redo button.
Yes.
Which is a sorely missed button that we definitely need for a very, very long time, because I've never accidentally pressed Control-Z when looking for Control-X and had no idea what I broke.
It just completely undone your entire giant thing that you patented down.
It's worse than that. It's just undone something. And I don't know what something is. We could be something as simple as a power pole. It could be I upgraded a whole section. It could be something critical, like I changed a major recipe on something that's chain linked to 5 other things. It could be twisting a belt. I could have contaminated half the bus. I don't know. So now we have a redo button as part of the base game. Because I went and double checked, because I was sure there was one, and turns out there is definitely not. So now we have a redo button as part of the game. But yes, with that
is it.
That's it. So we're gonna not redo this Friday Facts, and we're gonna see you next week for more Friday Facts. 383 with definitely I want scorpions. Anyway, that's it. We're out. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
All right, Friday Facts done. Who'd I miss? I missed Mucky. JD, how you doing? Mucky, how you doing? So Sang, how you doing as well? Thank you for the follow 10 minutes ago. We're doing the Friday Facts. And Shepard, how you doing as well? Welcome back for 4 months. How far into the stream? 6 hours. Cool. Did I mention new ores? We mentioned new ores last week, Snowstone, unless there's more new ores that I missed. But I don't think we saw any new ores in today. That's stone. That's iron. There's no ores in there.
What?
There's no ores in there.
Yeah, we covered the ores in a new... and I think it was actually the same one, the 380.
380 is where we missed it, so we mentioned it in 381, I assume?
Yeah, in that same picture, you do see some of the new ores in the train stops.
It was mentioned as a... It was not mentioned by us. It was mentioned in editing, I believe. It was mentioned in the edit in the final YouTube video. Open new tab. Let's go. We have this... I had to type into Google like 5 times. It's French, I think. No, it's Greek. Greek is what Google said. P-N-U-I-Z-B-O-U-N, I think. Prisbor? Maybe. It basically translates to air supply. Roughly. Actually, I think it translates to suffocate directly.
Suffocates it.
Unobtainium ore? No, we don't have unobtainium ore. Google Translate. Actually, I don't even know if I put that in there. I might have intentionally left it out because the translation was a little bit, yeah. P-N-U-I-B-O-U-R-N, they suffocate. No. No, we have a Z in there. Why did I put a Z in there? It's still they suffocate. Yes, that is they suffocate. Excellent, Aussie. Say, I'd never say, hey, Google, play Nickelback.
No, that's never happened.
Never. So yes, this translates into they suffocate. And then down here, we had, was it over here? No, it was this side. So we have this ore and that ore. Didn't work this time.
Yeah, you have the sort of goldy coloured ore.
Yeah, we got a goldy coloured ore, and I thought there was another one.
I think it's in a different picture.
Sure, I thought it was in this one. We had quality module 1's 2 stations. We had quality module 2's 1 station. We had the wall resupply. I don't know, it happened in the edit. And I don't even remember if I saved the edits for the Friday Facts. I don't think I do. I think they're just processed and rendered and done.
And then you delete them, and then you forget about them.
I save the template, but I don't save the individual edits. Or maybe it's saved to the next week. No, that was the only picture.
I don't remember now.
I don't either.
Oh.
It's in the video. Also, strong assumption Nickelback isn't already playing. Good point. We did have, so that's the blueprint book with the train platform bridgey thing in the middle.
Yes. Actually, speaking of Nickelback, did you actually see there is a YouTube video explaining the origin of the Nickelback
hate
meme?
The hate. Yep.
Yeah. Basically, for those that don't know, the short answer is it was basically some crappy late night TV show, and then some C or D tier comedian saying it.
It was a D tier comedian saying it, and it just ran away because it was a lull in the radio at the time. There was not a lot of other popular songs to play, so they got an awful lot of playtime.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which didn't help.
It also landed in that weird time when the internet was starting to take off.
Yep, and memes were just launched out of nothing. Yeah. Also, there's cliff deconstruction with multiple different cliff types because everybody wants to have
that's right,
black
the cliff
cliffs.
types. Which are probably from one of the other planets.
Yep, everybody wants black cliffs. Cool, that's just what we needed. I thought there was another item. No. What's that? Something resupply. Battery resupply? Yep. The T blueprint in 380.
That's the one you're in?
Yeah. Go away, little box bottom thing. It's not gonna. There we go. The T blueprint. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
What are we looking at?
The T blueprint under the fish in the hopper. That could be absolutely anything. Oh, thanks, player. Play, loop, no controls.
Oh yeah.
But it could be a placeholder. It could be as simple as a placeholder. Because that's the thing. They have they're doing the Friday Facts and that sort of stuff with potential temporary graphics. Oh yeah, we have no idea what this is, apart from it's the upside down version of a beacon. Oh, blocked by poppies would be cool. Friday Facts.
Oh yeah, the what looks like the original new beacon.
No, it fits into the new beacon. Okay, so we have the T here, right here. Crunch Tech. We have the T here, which is a unknown item, but it could be a placeholder. And we have the down here. We have the It fits into the new the new old beacons. Factorio Friday Facts new beacon. It'll be one of these two. No. Ah, here we go. It was the orifice beacon. Yep.
Yes, the sphincton.
Yep. Because this was our first alternative, and oh my god, these were ugly. Yep. The butthole beacons. Yes.
Yeah, the sphinctons.
Yeah. This was horrible. They did not fit at all.
Oh, the Eye of Celerons.
Yeah. Yeah, everything's an Eye of Celerons to him. But at least it was not brown, Mojo. You had to give him credit where credit was due. No brown.
I mean, brown is a shade of red.
Yeah. Yeah. So they only went for just brown with a hole in the middle to shove the, yeah. So yeah, which no, not that one. This one. This piece fits into this piece to give a parking place for your space platforms. Yeah. That must be it.
Brown Eye of Celeron.
Oh, sorry. Do I really still have the highlighter installed? No. It's highlighted. It wasn't even on this computer. What? According to this, it's still
apparently
installed.
it is now.
Yeah, it's installed. So I can open? Nope. How do I highlight things? Options. Select a style. How do I actually? Oh, you're not showing anything? Okay, cool. But you've saved that somehow. All right, I need to work out how to get that working again. So it's a plug of some sorts. It was the original beacon. So we had the beacons we're all familiar with for many, many years. Okay, they were great beacons. Everybody's used to those beacons, but
they were just low res.
Well, they were low res, and they'd sort of block your view. Okay, they had a problem that they'd stick up too tall. So they cut them down, and they made them a little bit shorter, so they didn't block your view anymore. And then they shoved this stupid thing in the middle of it. And then they weren't happy with the fact that they shoved this stupid thing in the middle of it, so they wanted more things happening. So then they made a better version, which the community had an outroar about and said, no, these things look stupid. And they did make them in a couple of different angles. So they didn't all look the exact same, but they still all look mostly the same. And they look ghastly.
It's a bit bland.
They look ghastly. And even with the pretty sparkles and everything else, which did add something to it, don't get me wrong, it did add something. We then went and redesigned them. So we had the ugly red things that they got rid of. We had the original ugly brown things, which they got rid of. And then they came up with the sphincter version, which Mojo was super, super, super eager to have sphincters everywhere. I actually think there was a Friday Facts between. Put the whole beacon hole entirely, therefore make it generally darker and less noticeable. I thought there was a Friday Facts that just had the sphincter version, and then they added the piercing on top.
No, it was all part of the iteration.
Okay. So then they added the pole on top to make sure that it didn't have a sphincter in it. Yep. And then we added our modules, and now they don't shine and bright and sparkles anymore. But yeah, it vastly changed the way Factorio looks. And the new beacons look way better. They're less dark, they're more light, they're more buried, they're more out of your way.
Imposing.
Yep. I thought they had... how So they also turn off the alt mode, and you have to re-enable it by actually turning it on.
Oh yeah, they removed the
alt mode
those
showing.
beacons. There's no alt view.
Yep, not without turning on the option.
Module by default.
Yep. And what? Glow effect also tuned by the color defined by the module. Oh yeah, so now we have the power spine thingy that goes up the middle is much less in your face. Cannot be built on the platform. I haven't seen a beacon on the platform, but doesn't mean it won't happen. As you're power constrained, I don't think there's a reason to try and build them on the platform. I don't think it would be in your best interests. So what's the beacon going to do? Efficiency modules? No. Speed. Make it legendary one step.
Oh yeah, the only thing you can do is speed.
One of the animations you tap through 5 had rail clover leaves. I called that would happen. Didn't expect the devs to do it first. Oh yeah, you called it. I remember you called it. Would be 380. Yep, it had clover leaves. Many clover leaves. Yep, raised clover leaves. Yeah, because of course, everybody goes to cloverleaf. I've been studying. We'll call it studying. We'll call it a business expense. We'll say it's studying. Workers and resources.
Oh, there you go.
And
the logistics group is stored in a blueprint, and when you paste it, it creates and inserts it into the game.
Whole scheduling group thing is the blueprint. When the blueprint doesn't exist, upon building, the group is created with the contents. When the group exists upon building the blueprint, the group in game. The group in the game, I suppressed and a newly bound entity is synced with the existing group. Okay. So I wonder if that means if I've called something wall resupply and you've called something wall resupply and I paste something in, does it?
They override each other.
Override your
they
wall
might have
resupply?
some kind of unique ID to stop that happening.
Yeah, but unique IDs are only unique until you run out.
This is true.
Pan. Why not test it in creative? Test what in creative? Because I can't access the expansion would be my first answer, probably. Because it's not out yet. Otherwise, you better be testing a whole lot of things. Or else to be releasing videos back to back. But yeah, Cloverleafs is yeah. And yeah, I've seen Cloverleafs in workers and resources, but the good news is the AI is so dumb there, it actually makes things worse more often than better.
That doesn't surprise me.
Workers and resources looks really cool.
It looks really cool. It's just it doesn't play really cool.
Oh, you've played it?
I've seen people play it, and I've seen enough to know that I shouldn't play it.
I tend to agree with you. Logistical groups. Fox, narrow this down. No, we won't have custom animations for every building. That would be too much, but we will have general scaffolding extension animation. Okay. Counts are summed up. The group doesn't exist yet. It's taken from the blueprint. Otherwise, it's taken from the game. Okay. Summed. I wonder if that means taking the larger of the two numbers or adding them together. It's one of those things we're gonna have to wait for it to exist. Small and on the screenshot with the request item selector. Request item selector. Yeah, we have a new one for rockets. Yep. Spawning others anyway. It feels useful. These things are a separate tab. I just assumed there'd be all space stuff that would only exist on space platforms or to do with space platforms and rockets. Yep. And it'd always be nice to be able to find actual rocket parts and satellites, because I could never find the damn things. So can't take weapons because of nukes. The whole scheduling group is in the blueprint. Yeah, I read that one. And really huge. Yeah, I figured that. I don't believe there are any plans to affect trains for weight. It wouldn't make an ounce of a difference. Trains are freaking heavy to start with. There's no
At
limit.
worst, it would just slow them down and you just add more locos.
But the trains are like... A loco, I think, is 4,000 kilograms to start with, and a wagon's 2,000.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They're massively heavy anyway.
So then it's already 4 tons and 1 ton, whatever.
Yeah. Player character weighs 1 ton, checkmate. Yeah. There's some heavy power
That's
armor.
where the player character comes in.
Yeah. Oh, you really need to go to the bathroom. That would probably fix it. Or just 1 tin.
If the player weighed 1 ton, then that bathroom's getting demolished.
Yep. Yeah, 980 over 1,000 kilograms. Yep. Use metric time, but they prefer the US spelling, so or 1 mg or simply 1,000 kilograms, because the way the currently weight is presented. Yep. It should be just 980 of 1,000 kilograms. Done. Problem solved. No ambiguity. And it'll probably get changed. Someone else can change the logic group on stuff like that. Constant component. I hope there is a last change by for them to combat griefing.
What they could have done is a megagram.
Oh god, that's what the Reddit just said. Shut up. Shut up.
That is just the most aggressively metric thing ever. Germans would love it, and probably the French.
Orange Bunny, I think the devs have done enough with a just permanent ban from all service feature that they're not too worried about individual player griefing. Yeah, I don't think they're worried about it anymore.